What makes a woman quietly look at you with that mix of respect and curiosity that turns into lasting admiration? Before you answer with the usual cliches, money, looks, height, pause for a second and notice something most men miss. Admiration is not the same as attraction. Attraction can be impulsive, short-lived, reactive. Admiration is deliberate, cumulative, and anchored to who you consistently are under pressure. Attraction can pull her attention. Admiration makes her invested. Attraction can fade after novelty disappears. Admiration grows because of evidence. If you want the kind of magnetism that stays when the music stops, you build the evidence. Right now, I am going to show you how to build it from the inside out, so that every signal you send, every word you speak, and every choice you make quietly tells her, without bragging, this man is the real thing. Keep listening, because in a few minutes, I'll give you a simple calibration routine you can use in under 60 seconds before any date or conversation to switch on the exact traits that trigger admiration, not just interest. Start with a shift in definition. A woman admires a man who masters himself first and then his environment. That means your primary battlefield is not out there. It is in your breath, posture, and thinking, in your schedule, your standards, your attention, and your ability to hold tension without collapsing. Admiration begins when she realizes you do not need to be the center of the room to be the center of your own gravity. She feels it when your presence says, I am oriented, instead of, I am performing. You can generate that orientation deliberately. Think of it as a hierarchy of signals that stack: integrity at the core, competence and ambition around it, composure holding it together, and social leadership projecting it outward. When these align, admiration becomes a natural reaction rather than something you chase. Integrity is the first and non-negotiable signal. This is not the moral lecture you have heard 1,000 times. This is strategic. Integrity is simply alignment between what you value, what you say, and what you do when it costs you. Women are exquisitely sensitive to incongruence. If your words and actions do not match, you can appear charming for a moment, but you will not be admired. To build integrity into observable behavior, make your standards visible. Speak clearly about what you do and don't do, not to control, but to define yourself. When you set an arrival time, arrive. When you promise an action, complete it. When you make a boundary, maintain it kindly and without drama. Do not overshare about principles. Embody them in small, repeatable patterns. Admiration grows every time she sees you choose long-term alignment over short-term approval. If you want a practical way to embed this, pick one commitment in the domains of health, money, and relationships. Health, a simple training rhythm you never break. Money, a savings or investment habit you follow with discipline. Relationships, a communication habit you use consistently, like addressing tensions the same day. You don't need to announce these habits. The evidence will leak into your body language, your tone, your scheduling, and your micro-choices. Competence and ambition come next. Competence is the proof that you can do valuable things. Ambition is the proof that you will do increasingly valuable things. Together, they broadcast trajectory. Admiration follows trajectory because it suggests safety and excitement combined. You handle reality as it is, and you are moving toward more. How do you transmit competence without bragging? Through precision. Speak with specificity about your craft, your numbers, your process, your constraints, and your solutions. Replace vague claims with clear, testable statements about what you produce and how you think. When she asks about your work or your projects, do not give the highlight reel, give the operating system. Show how you analyze, prioritize, and execute. The tone is not salesy, it is grounded and calm. Ambition, on the other hand, is not chaotic hunger. It is structured desire. It shows in how you plan your week, how you treat your mornings, how you defend focus, and how you say no to what dilutes you. If you want a signal that instantly differentiates you from the average, set a defined window every day where your phone is in another room and you sit with one clear objective. That single habit rewires your energy, because intention without distraction becomes presence, and presence is the oxygen of admiration. Composure is the bridge that carries your integrity and competence through social pressure. Many men appear confident until a moment of friction reveals fragility. A woman admires the man who can hold tension, silence, disagreement, uncertainty, without seeking escape. Composure is not coldness, it is warmth under control. Practically, it lives in your breath, your neck, and your gaze. Slow the exhale, relax your jaw, lengthen the back of your neck, keep your gaze soft but steady. That body state alone changes your voice resonance and the cadence of your speech. Do not rush your sentences. Take pauses on your terms. Pauses communicate that your internal world is not being hijacked by external speed. Composure also shows in how you handle emotional bids. When she tests a boundary or escalates emotion, do not counter-escalate or withdraw. Acknowledge the feeling precisely. I hear that you felt ignored when I rescheduled. Then restate your standard. I don't cancel last minute unless it's unavoidable, but I do protect my focus, and propose a forward move. Let's pick a time that respects both our schedules. That triad keeps you grounded, respectful, and directional, and it trains the dynamic toward respect. Social leadership is the outward expression of your inner order. Leadership here doesn't mean bossing anyone around, it means you create momentum, structure, and clarity wherever you are. A woman admires a man who can turn vagueness into plans, chaos into rhythm, and problems into decisions. In practice, this is as simple as taking initiative on logistics. You propose a time and place, you give 2 or 3 options, you prepare a backup, and you communicate details without fuss. It looks like handling practical barriers with calm resourcefulness. It looks like noticing when the environment is draining and steering toward a more energizing setting. It looks like being on the side of solutions rather than marinating in complaints. If you internalize one social leadership habit, make it this. Wherever you go, mentally ask, what would make this 10% better for everyone here? Then act. Move a chair, change a plan, ask a clarifying question, offer a concrete next step. Quietly improving the environment is a leadership signal almost no one sends consistently, and it earns deep respect. You might be thinking about looks. Appearance matters, but not in the way you were sold. You don't need to look like a model. You need to look like a man who respects his instrument. That means eliminating friction. Clothing should be clean, well-fitted, simple, and aligned with your context. Shoes should be cared for. Your scent should be subtle and consistent, clean before cologne. Your grooming should be intentional. A maintained haircut, neat facial hair if you keep it, clean nails. The goal is not to attract through decoration, but to remove the distractions that undermine the signals of your character. Fitness is a respect signal as well, not because of size, but because it demonstrates discipline and self-care. Train for strength, posture, and energy. If you do nothing else, prioritize movements that open your chest and strengthen your back so you naturally occupy space without force. Good posture is not a military pose. It is relaxed readiness. That readiness shows in your walk, which should be unhurried and directional. Imagine your sternum slightly lifted and your steps landing as if you are putting down decisions. Communication is the amplifier. You earn admiration when your words reduce confusion, create direction, and reveal discernment. Speak to the point, not to impress. Short sentences beat rambling explanations. Specific questions beat generic small talk. When you ask, listen with your face and your shoulders, not just your ears. Do not jump to fill every silence. Let your words land. Avoid sarcasm. It's a defense that signals fear of sincerity. Replace performative humor with observational wit that shows awareness instead of insecurity. Avoid overvalidating yourself with unnecessary context. State your preference simply. Instead of narrating your entire life philosophy, give her one clear window into your thinking and move on. Precision and restraint make your words feel weighty. Frame control, done ethically, is central. A frame is simply the lens through which an interaction makes sense. A weak frame follows emotion and external approval. A strong frame follows values, purpose, and reality. You set the frame by setting the why before the what. When you propose from principles. You choose the restaurant because the environment supports focus. You choose the time because you defend mornings. You choose the activity because it expresses your values. You also set the frame by defining the game you are not playing. You don't chase, you don't audition, you don't tolerate disrespect, and you don't fix yourself to fit an unstable expectation. That is not stubbornness, that is clarity. Clarity attracts admiration because it is rare. In a world of reactive men, the man with a firm center stands out without shouting. There is a specific social dynamic that creates admiration quickly, the combination of generosity and discernment. Generosity without discernment looks like neediness. Discernment without generosity looks like arrogance. Blended correctly, you give freely and you choose carefully. Be generous with attention when it is earned, with appreciation when it is true, with help when it aligns with your boundaries. Be discerning with your time, your commitments, and your close circles. Praise specifically, not excessively. Gratitude shows strength when it is precise and undesperate. When you appreciate a quality, describe the behavior and the impact, then return to your center. Do not hang your identity on her response to your appreciation. That single move, appreciate and release, makes you both kind and free, which is deeply attractive and deeply respectable. Scarcity is another misunderstood lever. Scarcity is not playing hard to get. It is being hard to get because your life is full of purpose. When your days are built around your mission, your training, your family, your craft, and your faith or philosophy, you do not have empty stretches to fill with validation seeking. That reality, not the performance of it, alters your vibe. You answer messages with presence, but you do not hover in conversation threads all day. You plan dates around your pillars. You don't break your pillars for dates. You are available for what aligns and unavailable for what does not. Scarcity born from purpose is never cold. It is warm and selective. That selectivity communicates self-respect, and a woman admires a man who protects his time and attention, because it signals he can also protect a relationship and a family. Let's address emotional range. Admiration is not given to a man who feels nothing. It is given to a man who feels deeply and remains captain of his ship. Emotional literacy is not cliché, it is capability. Learn to name your internal states accurately. Irritated, disappointed, excited, proud, uncertain, content. When you can name it, you can navigate it. If you cannot name it, it will own you. In a conversation, don't mask, don't unload, and don't perform. State your internal weather when it serves clarity. If you are stressed from a brutal day, say so, not as an excuse, but as context, and then behave with intentionality. A woman admires the man who takes responsibility for his energy. This also means you do not outsource your grounding to her. You engineer your baseline with sleep, training, solitude, sunlight, and uncompromising input hygiene. You don't marinate in content that irritates your nervous system. You curate your influences because your brain is an ecosystem, and ecosystems require stewardship. Boundaries are admiration's spine. Boundaries are not ultimatums, they are definitions of how you operate. If your time boundaries, communication boundaries, and physical boundaries are clear to you, they will be clear to others. How do you uphold them without drama? You pre-commit to a small number of standard phrases you can deliver calmly and consistently. You keep your face relaxed, your tone even, and your wording simple. You repeat once if needed, then you move your feet. Upheld boundaries create a prediction market around you. People can predict what you will and won't do, and that predictability feels like safety. Women admire safety not because they are fragile, but because safety is the condition for play, depth, and trust. There is also the matter of polarity. Admiration thrives when difference is honored, not erased. Masculine energy is direction, decision, presence, and protection. Feminine energy is flow, intuition, expression, and nurture. You do not copy her energy to seek her approval. You bring yours to complement hers. When she is in flow, you bring structure. When she expresses, you listen and decide. When she seeks containment, you offer it without control. You do not try to out-feminine a feminine woman. You remain a man, not as a performance, but as a stable signal. That alone eliminates the confusion that erodes respect in so many interactions. Status is not the car or the watch. It is competence recognized by a tribe you respect. You can increase true status by being excellent in a small arena, consistently. Choose one domain where you can deliver uncommon value. Become known for it in a tangible community. Share your work process and your results. Mentor someone once you have results. Participate in rituals that build cohesion. Training together, learning together, serving together. When you are embedded in real communities, you broadcast something that influencers cannot fake, a track record witnessed by others. That social proof is quiet, but powerful. You are not alone, and you are not trying to generate a life from empty performance. You already have a life, and you are inviting her into a reality, not a fantasy. Admiration follows men whose lives would be meaningful, even if they were single. Let's talk about decisiveness. Indecision drains polarity. Decide faster by shrinking reversible decisions. If a choice is reversible, decide quickly and adjust. If a choice is irreversible, slow down and gather more information. You can train this by setting micro deadlines for tiny decisions throughout your day and sticking to them. Over time, your nervous system learns that you are a man who moves. Movement reduces anxiety, and reduced anxiety enhances presence. Presence enhances admiration. The chain is real. You will also ruin fewer moments by outsourcing decisions to her out of fear. She may say she wants you to decide, and she means it, because decision is masculine generosity. It lifts the weight of structure off her shoulders so she can relax into the moment. Do this with kindness, offering options and reading her comfort, but do it. The man who never decides is never admired. Now, the energy you bring to conflict matters. Conflict handled well raises admiration intensely. Conflict handled poorly evaporates it. Handling conflict well means addressing issues early, separating behavior from identity, and proposing concrete next steps. Never threaten the relationship in order to win a point. Never withdraw affection to punish. Never weaponize secrets. These are weak tactics. They erode respect even when you win. Be surgical and fair. When you are wrong, say so cleanly and change behavior. When you are right, hold your ground without gloating. After resolution, rebuild connection intentionally. A walk, a meal, a shared laugh, and close the loop so the nervous systems on both sides can relax. You will become a man who can be trusted in storms, and storms are inevitable. She admires the man who becomes more himself when tested, not less. Money and resources require a sober word. You do not need to be wealthy to be admired, but you do need to be responsible. Responsibility looks like spending less than you earn, keeping a cushion, eliminating debt methodically, investing regularly, and leveling up your earning ability over time. Live below your drama threshold, which means arranging your expenses so that you do not need theatrics to keep up. Financial humility is a magnet. It telegraphs that you are building for seasons, not chasing weekends. Keep your generosity within your means and keep your promises within your budget. Nothing destroys admiration faster than financial volatility caused by ego. Let's plug all this into the nervous system layer of interaction, the body signals she reads before you speak. Your entrance matters. Do not rush into a space scanning for approval. Enter, pause for a breath, orient to the room, and find a resting posture. Set your feet shoulder width, unlock your knees, let your arms hang with life in the fingertips, and let your breath expand low. Keep your chin level. When you greet her, let the smile reach your eyes before it reaches your mouth. When you shake hands or embrace, be fully there for that moment, then release cleanly. During conversation, angle your torso slightly, rather than squaring up like a debate, and keep your hands visible and relaxed. Gesture from your torso outward, not just at the wrists. Slow your nods. Speak from your diaphragm. End sentences cleanly. Do not rise in pitch at the end of statements. It turns statements into questions. Silence is not a problem to fix. It is a canvas to use. Use it. Desire should be expressed with clarity and restraint. You never apologize for wanting what you want, and you never demand it. You are available to the possibility of intimacy, but you are not driven by the fear of missing it. That stance prevents you from over-pursuing or under-pursuing. Over-pursuit looks like constant availability, over-eager validation, and decision paralysis. Under-pursuit looks like aloofness, born of fear and ego. The sweet spot is directed warmth. You invite, you propose, you escalate appropriately when signals are mutual, and you back off immediately at resistance without sulking or shaming. Mutual enthusiasm is the standard. That standard, spoken and lived, earns admiration because it protects dignity on both sides. Let's draw a finer line on honesty. Brutal honesty is lazy. It uses truth as a weapon. Beautiful honesty is disciplined. It aims truth at the good. You say what is true, and you say it in a way that a man of dignity would be proud of later. Do not hide behind just being honest to excuse cruelty. You are responsible for the impact of your words. And yet, do not hide behind harmony when truth is needed. If you sense misalignment, name it. If you observe a pattern that undermines respect, address it once, then adjust your participation accordingly. Leaving quietly is sometimes the most respectful move. You do not need to announce that you are leaving. You simply act in accordance with your standards and time. Ambition requires fuel, and your fuel is meaning. Align your work and your relationships with something larger than your ego. Service, creation, faith, mastery, family, community. When a woman feels that your drive is tethered to meaning, she admires the stability of it. It means your energy won't evaporate when attention fades, because attention was never the source. You anchor your life in something that makes you hard to corrupt and hard to distract. That grounded ambition is rare enough that it leaves a mark on everyone who meets you. Your environment locks in your identity. Audit your inputs. Curate who you spend hours with. If your circle rewards drama, irony, and avoidance, you will carry that smell into your dates and your relationships. If your circle rewards discipline, sincerity, and growth, you will broadcast that rhythm without trying. Create ritual around your mornings. Put weight in your hands. Put sunlight in your eyes. Put long-form thought in your brain. Put quiet in your day. A woman admires a man who has built himself so well that the world has to negotiate with his rhythms rather than the other way around. Now sharpen your yes and your no. A sloppy yes is born from fear of disapproval. A surgical no is born from respect for your priorities. Practice saying no without explanation. I can't do that. If an explanation serves clarity, add it once, but do not negotiate your values against pressure. You teach others how to treat you by what you tolerate and by how soon you address what you won't. Early correction is kindness to both sides. The longer you wait, the more resentment builds, and resentment destroys respect quietly until it explodes. Choose the discomfort of early honesty over the disaster of delayed truth. Loyalty is a deep admiration trigger, not the performative kind, but the quiet kind that shows up consistently. Speak well of those who are not present. Keep confidences. Refuse gossip as a bonding mechanism. Address issues with the person involved, not with an audience. Protect reputations when it costs you. Be the same man in every room. That cohesiveness calms the nervous system of anyone near you. A woman will admire the man whose loyalty does not depend on convenience. Let's engineer the way you end interactions. Most men focus on entrances and neglect exits. Exits leave the flavor memory. End with clarity, not vagueness. If you want to see her again, say so and propose a lane to make it real. If you do not, close sincerely without breadcrumbing. If you need time to think, say that and set a deadline for your follow-up. Follow through. Exits are where integrity and leadership meet. Master them. You may wonder how to keep all this alive without turning into a robot. The answer is rhythm and review. Rhythm means daily practices that load these traits automatically. Review means reflecting weekly on where you drifted and where you held. Keep a simple note where you assess your integrity slips, your composure under stress, your leadership acts, and your boundaries upheld. Iterate. Admiration grows from witnessed growth as much as from current strength. When she can see you learning, adjusting, and improving, she respects your trajectory and trusts your future more than your present. Here is the 60-second calibration routine I promised. Use it before a date, a call, or a conversation you care about. Step 1. Breathe out slowly for 8 counts, in for 4, 3 times. This drops your heart rate and deepens your voice. Step 2. Posture scan. Lengthen your spine, lift your sternum slightly, roll your shoulders down and back, unlock your knees, and release your jaw. Step 3. Intention anchor. Silently choose who you will be in the next hour. Present, decisive, and kind. Not what you will get, but what you will give. Step 4. Frame phrase. Tell yourself one clear sentence that defines your role. I bring clarity and warmth. Step 5. Micro plan. Decide the first place, the first transition, and 2 alternate options. That is enough structure to relax into presence. This entire sequence takes 1 minute. It changes how you look, sound, and decide. Repeat it until it is automatic. If you want a deeper layer, design an admiration stack you live by. At the center, write 3 principles that define you. Around that, 3 daily actions that embody them. Around that, 3 social behaviors that project them. For example, if a principle is protects what matters, the daily action might be 1 hour of focused work with the phone outside the room. And the social behavior might be propose plans that honor focus and safety. When your stack is coherent, everything you do, from your texts to your timing, becomes a signal. She will not admire you because you demand it. She will admire you because the evidence accumulates. Understand something essential. Admiration is not earned by trying to look admirable. It is earned by becoming admirable and allowing that to be seen. That means you cannot shortcut the process with tricks. You can accelerate it with clarity, discipline, and skill, but you cannot counterfeit it. The men who are most respected are those who would live like this even without an audience. They do not outsource their identity to reactions. They are grateful for admiration, but they are not owned by it. That detachment from approval, paradoxically, increases admiration, because a man who is free is a man who can love and lead without fear. Let's fuse all of this into the way you will move through the next month. For 30 days, make 3 commitments: 1 to your body, 1 to your mission, 1 to your word. For your body, choose a training rhythm you can sustain: 3 strength sessions and daily walks. For your mission, choose a single, measurable milestone and pursue it with daily focus. For your word, choose 1 boundary you will uphold and 1 promise you will keep, no matter how small. Track them. Speak less about them. Let them change your face, your sleep, your patience, and your backbone. Then observe the shifts in how women respond. More calm in your presence, more curiosity in their eyes, more ease in their behavior, more respect in their language. Do not fish for these signals. Notice them and return to your work. Stay humble, stay kind, stay decisive. When you meet a woman you are drawn to, remember the doctrine: integrity first, then competence and ambition, then composure. Then leadership. Lead with your center, not your resume. Be clear about your standards and flexible about preferences. Bring warmth without need. Choose your pace. Offer a plan. Listen for depth. If misalignment appears, respect both of you enough to step away. If alignment appears, invest slowly and steadily. Build admiration with evidence, not intensity. Put more weight on patterns than on moments. Keep your life vibrant so the relationship lives in an ecosystem of meaning. You are not building a performance, you are building a man. You are not hunting admiration, you are creating it as a byproduct of excellence, courage, and care. A woman admires the man who is at peace with himself, firm in his values, generous with his strength, and brave enough to love without losing himself. That man does not shout. He does not beg. He does not bend to the weather. He walks. He decides. He builds. He speaks with calm. He protects what matters and lets the trivial die. Become that, and admiration finds you because it cannot ignore you. If in this moment you are tempted to delay, don't. Pick 1 trait you'll embody today. Perhaps it is decisiveness. Perhaps it is composure. Perhaps it is clarity. Practice it in every interaction for the next 12 hours. At night, review. Tomorrow, add a 2nd trait. You will realize how quickly life changes when you stop seeking tactics to get reactions and start building the architecture that naturally creates them. That architecture is your advantage. That architecture is your freedom. That architecture is what really makes a woman admire a man.